interesting that you jokingly said that it's actually strange because I've never seen that profile before, the one that you read. I spent the last 14, 15 years building businesses. I'm a three times founder. 2 years ago, I and my wife started the third business, and in that 2 years, last month we launched our 9 outlets in 2 years. So one of the things I love to do is to build stuff, and not just to build stuff like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can do 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. My first degree is mathematics, so I like to think exponentially. And more importantly, I have 3 masters, a consultant, right? But of recent, I sit on multiple boards. That's my own journey to financial freedom. There are 3 freedoms we do in life: financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. My ultimate goal for time freedom is a point where I just sit down on boards and get to grow businesses. Last week, one of the businesses I sit on the board, they did 7 billion last year, and in 1 quarter this year, that's the first quarter, Q1 of 2025, they've already done 3, so that gives an idea that they're going to multiply it. So I'm a business and management consultant. I build businesses, and Dr. Stephen is absolutely right. We've known ourselves for as long as GTEx has been existent. I've been the lead consultant to GTEx for that 10 years as well, so this feels like home. And let me publicly say this: thanks for giving us a chance to build GTEx with you.
I want to start with, why should anybody hire a consultant? Because sometimes the challenge we entrepreneurs have, am I speaking your mind? There are these people are just aspire to acquire, right? They are not the one doing the hustle. You are the one, facing the fire. And then every month or every quarter, you're having to pay this consultant one fat salary or one fat money for AKA consulting. If you are looking at my raise your hand, okay? So why should a business have a consultant?
So I'd answer it with a question: why should any Christian need a pastor? I mean, we all have a Bible. God died for all of us in similar light. It's the same thing. You can't read a label when you're in the bottle, right? And sometimes the way life is, the way God just designed life.
Hold on, you cannot read a label. Well, did you guys get it when you're in the bottle? Go on.
So you need someone who outside in. And it has not to do with intellect, it has not to do with intelligence. Chances are that you could be advising someone that's even getting more result than you and is more intelligent than you. By the way nature of life works, if this hall right now is smelling, we might not notice because we're so in it. But if someone enters, you say, this is smelling funny. So I think that that's pretty much one of the reasons why you need a consultant. And then because we work with different clients, we can compare notes. I remember sometimes, Dr. Stephen, I always wonder why Dr. Stephen still has me as a consultant, because we are always, and you've noticed he was even doing basketballs there, because we always, and that's very healthy, and I respect that humility, because he has a choice to not do that with us, where I don't agree on some things. And one of the things I learned just engaging with him in that context is, when you have a consultant, right, sometimes it's good to see things from another perspective. And because I sit on other company boards and I consult for other people, I can tell you that, wait a second, how much did you make? You said you made 4 billion. And I said, okay, 4 billion, how many staff do you have? And he says maybe 200. And because I have another client who did maybe 20 billion with half that, I can tell you that you're doing more. You're doing less with more. Does that make sense? So sometimes when you can compare notes, it always helps. It's the same thing. Why do you need a mentor? We all need people who are seeing things from another perspective. The Wright brothers, the guys that invented the plane, they see things from different perspectives. Just as kids, they would draw 6 on the ground and they would argue over 6. And his parents would say, stop, now switch and stay on the other side. When you're on the other side, 6 becomes 9. If anybody did aerodynamics or physics in school, you know that what makes a plane fly is 2 opposing forces: gravity and aerodynamics. They are opposite forces. So sometimes it's good to have that system. So I think I've broken it down. You need someone who understands strategy and structure, who does his main business. I think you really put a different context to things.
Okay, beautiful. So first of all, if you are going to look at 2, 3 things, what are the things that must be in place for, let's say, a new business, for it to even be scalable? If you are going to say, okay, this business is scalable, what should 2, 3 things we should look at?
Okay, so the energy to start a business is different from the energy and the skill set to scale a business. They're two different things. Mm-hmm. You need the gra to start a business. You need disruption. I mean, I know the spoken word person said business owners, entrepreneurs, and I'm sure for a few seconds everybody was wondering what the difference is. I didn't know the same thing, but there are two different things. Entrepreneurs are disruptive. They are starters. Business owners are systems. So business owners don't necessarily have to be founders. And you see, I've known Bayo for years, and I think I did the intro to Bayo with you. One of the things I've learned from even having people like that in friends is people who don't even found businesses, who are not founders, do better.
Yeah.
Hope you know that Nigerian banks, the top 10 Nigerian banks, none of them are currently run by the founders. Hope you know that. The guy that's running GT did not start GT. The Zenith Bank did not start Zenith Bank. Right? Even the biggest churches, people forget that the boy did not start reading. It's hard to actually think about it. So there are two different skills, to start and to grow. So
guys, are we learning this? I hope this is important. Because when she was doing her, people were wondering, Madam, and you know we do that a lot in Nigeria. When the person is right, but we think they are foolish because we are so ignorant, and we don't know we are the ones that are ignorant. But please consider.
As a matter of fact, founders sometimes make terrible CEOs.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's because the saving is here.
Yeah.
The fact that GTEC's exponential growth, if you ask him, sum it up, is the fact that he's not exactly the CEO. He's a big dreamer, but he has a special skill that people don't see, and he's putting the right people in the right position, even if it means standing up from position for other people too, right? And that's one of the things we have to understand, right?
So I want to clap well, clap it well. I don't want to have this. This is not bio, you can clap now.
So what are the key things you must have? First of all, you must have system thinking. You don't need systems and structure to start. As a matter of fact, when you grow, sometimes systems and structure can make you slower.
Yeah.
You know, division of labor is good, structure is good. One thing we consider and tell people is that structure can create some level of bureaucracy, because if you want to talk to Dr. Stephen, you have to go to 2, 3 people, so it's not as fast as. So when you're starting a business, you need that speed to start, you need that disruption, you need that perseverance. But to grow a business, you need structure and systems. And how you build structure first is look at your business from 3 levels. If you must scale 10x or 10 figures is actually 1 billion, if you do the maths. To be able to do a revenue above 1 billion, one thing you must do is take your business, break it into 3 levels. For now, your business probably has just 1 level. You, Alpha and Omega, everything goes through you. They want to buy something in the office, they are calling you to buy the things. If you're not at work, if you are running a business like your staff is not coming on Monday, he will call you to tell you you don't have structure.
Hey.
I don't know if this sort of makes sense. It's going to go against what you're used to. So take your business and break that into 3 levels and sit on the first level and delegate the second and the third level.
Are we taking notes?
What are the 3 levels? Corporate level, management level, and operational level. So now you see your management. That's why you can't scale. You cannot be management. You cannot be management. I've seen a lot of people maybe, and I've seen one of those real estate guys who can go live on Instagram any given day. I'll say this publicly. 90% of people that do real estate cannot go live because of the amount of vendors, they're owing, number of this. And one of the things I've seen, even when people try to publicly, you say, look, you know what? I'm not the one that is owing you. It's my company that is owing you. There are 2 different entities. Hope that makes sense. So there are 3 levels. You must differentiate yourself from the other levels. The corporate level is where you sit. The management is where your head of department sits. And operations is where everybody else sits. Operations supplies outputs. So if a real estate company, operations is the one selling land, is the one building. management, supplies, organization. Stay with me. 3 levels: operations, outputs, management, order, then corporate, vision. So that means the CEO has one fundamental work: to be as visionary as possible. If people don't think you're mad from how big you dream, you're not dreaming enough.
Oh.
Right? So you're not supposed to be in the same level. The management and operations will live in the present. Your work is to live in the future. So things might not be working now, you don't care because you're not there that is not working. You just come to visit them in the present.
Yeah.
You live in the future.
Come on.
I don't know if this sort of makes sense. Right? So output is the operations. If you're here, you are running a bakery and you are the one baking the bread, you cannot scale because you're supplying outputs, baking bread. Hope that makes sense. If you're a fashion designer here and you're the one still sitting behind your tailoring machine, you cannot scale because you're supplying the output. Remember, what supplies outputs? Operations. That's not your level. Right? If you're the best person in your team, you cannot scale.
Hey.
I hope this makes sense. So to scale is to get people who are better than you.
Hold on. This is too rush. Are we together? It's rush.
That's the highest level. Resist the temptation to come down to second level and first level. As a matter of fact, treat everybody like an enemy that brings you to the second level and first level.
Yes.
Treat anybody like, because they are actually self-sabotaging your growth.
Yeah, they are.
If CEO has another word, it will be networking, it will be strategy, it will be vision. So if you're not doing these 3 things day to day, right, you're probably not going to be able to scale. So I think that's the first thing. Second thing you must do is to build structure. So first thing is to break your company 3 levels, understand the roles, put a big line between the 3 so that you don't jump from the other one to the other. Treat people that make you want to come down to that level as enemies, meaning that you must have the people that are in charge of those levels. And of course, build structure. Structure is very simple. Have an organogram. Have somebody higher than you. And Dr. Stephen has said this passively, but I think it's very above people's heads. When you are the one that is highest in your company, you can't scale. Right? And that person who is ahead of you must become.
Calm down. Calm down. Take it easy. Is this thinking? Yeah. Is this thinking? Yes. Right? When you are the what? Highest in your organization, what happens? You can't scale. Business owner or founder, whichever you are you hearing? Come on, are you hearing? Yes. By the way, those of you who are MDs and GTEX holdings, who are you, by the way? Based on this definition, any of our MD can sustain it. Who are you? No, now, entrepreneur, business owner. Entrepreneur, business owner. You are not the CEO of a subsidiary of
business owner.
Who are you?
Business owner.
Does that make sense at all? Yeah. So what is that? If I didn't start the company, I am a what? I'm a business owner. Is this making sense? Yeah. If I just come and I buy a company, I'm a business owner. But if I start it and entrepreneur, I will see opportunity, start something. You are an entrepreneur. And this convention is very important because at some point, you, the entrepreneur, need to be looking for business owners to take over. You saw Bayo, and that's why I love that we had Bayo. Bayo didn't start Wakana, right? But the people who started it were really struggling with it, right? And you saw this one, this is a good opportunity because that's also what's killing Nigeria. One of the reasons why we started this conference, we need businesses to go big. Did you hear some numbers? And I'm happy that he's giving numbers because Nigerians don't like giving numbers. It's also because he was trained abroad. Because in Nigeria, you come for conference, everybody shout, keeping quiet. Do you know what it means to be doing 1 billion naira in profit some days? That's a lot. Okay? But he didn't start that business. And we need to start teaching our people that. Because everybody thinks I must start it. Right? I must start it. The $300,000 he was earning monthly salary today, what is $1 million we buy? You guys have no idea who came here. And he still didn't start the company.
So this mindset that I must be the founder, I must be the one that must start it, is also what we hope this conference will correct. Because at some point, some of us need to take a back seat, are we together now, and bring people who didn't necessarily start the business to help us run it. And at some point, they too can evolve into something else. Another said, but take over. We must build that culture, but you must have somebody higher than you. Now, I want to ask this question. How many of you are entrepreneurs? I didn't say business owner who have people higher than you. Can you tell us who's higher than you? Oh, you are not the founder of the business. Okay. But I'm talking of those who are entrepreneurs. You founded your business. You founded, I'm not talking to business owners. Remember, we have separated it. Entrepreneur means that you also the thing. Business owner could mean that they brought you in and you are not the one in charge of running it. As an entrepreneur, how many entrepreneurs here have somebody higher than them?
As mentors,
Captain only as the chairman, and we actually got a board. A board with about
Do you
five.
see? That's the answer. He has a what? A board. Right? Either advisory board or management board. You know, you need to have a board. And we're going to remember. At least let's start there and it evolve over time. If you don't have people who can question you, even though you started the business, even though you are still the largest shareholder, your business will scale. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, I cut you short, but I need to sing. Please go ahead.
Absolutely. Just answer the question. You must have a board. When we talk about the second and third step, which is building a structure. So structure is after you take those 3 levels, you must, while you're still on the high level, number 1 level, there must people who you report to, even God. When you look at some part of the chapters of the Bible, you see where they mention heaven like it's plural, like heavenly places.
Yeah.
Right? Even God has God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Right? So having people that you are accountable to, whether as mentors, whether as board of advisors, whether as board of directors, to sectors in Nigeria that are doing so well and we don't think of them deeply.
Yeah.
That most prospering is banking and Pentecostals.
Banking and Pentecostal.
They are the ones that have the largest branches in Nigeria. No other brand in any industry has more branches than banks, right or wrong? The only people that go close is maybe Chicken Republic. But before you count 4 Chicken Republic, you have counted 5 Zenith banks. The next to them is the likes of Christ Embassy, Winners, Redeem. You might trust you to know that Redeem has over 20,000 branches. So here's the trick, and that trick is important. You know, no other movement does boards and mentors than Pentecostals and banks.
Yeah.
Every bank you see has a chairman. Even as big as First Bank is, that's why people like Ibuka Oshika became chairman, right? Who of course has all the people that she reports to, right? The owner of Radisson Blue, what's his name now? Otudeko, right? People like Otedola, biggest shareholders. So you must be accountable. Then second thing you must do is you must have an organogram that works. You must have departments, and those departments must have HODs. And those HODs must have GM that they report to. So like HODs report to GM, GM reports to MD CEO, CEO reports to board. See our organogram bottom up is, so you must have that. Then 3, you must make some mental assumptions in your head. 1, you must assume what you're building must have multiple branches. You're not going to scale and do 10x if you keep thinking of your office as somewhere you wake up and go to and come back. If that offices don't have multiple branches or can't have multiple branches, your scaling has a threshold, like a ceiling.
So you're not scalable.
Yes, you're not scalable. That's why, in other words, think of your business as a retail shop, even if it's not retail, even if it's real estate. and I'm saying real estate because I believe a lot of mentors of Dr. Stephen are into real estate. Think of that your XYZ Limited as XYZ that will have XYZ Abuja, XYZ Dubai, XYZ Lagos. If you need example, look at the GTEX brand. Just think about GTEX. Dr. Stephen, how many outlets do you have now? And I use the word outlets because that's how you want to look at them, branches. Does that make sense? So you must assume the examples, the banks, once again, the Pentecostals, they think in branches. Each branch manager is like a CEO of that branch.
Yeah.
The same way each pastor of a parish is like the CEO of that parish. They have targets because it's called the law of duplicity. You must be able to duplicate yourself. When Jesus decided to build something bigger than just try to save humans, which is a religion, one of the things they did was, after he died, the 12 disciples expanded and built units. Those units became cities. Some of those cities, today as we speak, we have probably 2 billion, 3 billion Christians. If they didn't think in units with multiple branches, some after Jesus died, some went to Galilee, some went to this, some went to that, some went to that, and today they are all over the world.
And those the disciples now.
Right. So I think that that's pretty important. So structure broken down is assumption that you're building multiple branches. Is assumption that you're building businesses that have different departments and none of the department head reports to you. You must have a buffer between you and the person you report to. Because your role is not to be managing people in departments. Your role is outside. Remember, CEO's work is vision, is strategy, is networking. Every time your role becomes managing everybody, you are now general manager, not CEO. I don't know if that sort of makes sense.
Wow. Come on, this is making sense at all. Don't come down and stay down. If you need to intervene because somebody is not doing their job, intervene and get out again. If you need to replace the person, if you need to change the person, if you need to sack the person doing that job, do it and get out. But don't then stay there and call yourself a CEO and you are not visionary and you are not out there trying to expand the business in an unusual way. So sometimes people see me and they think I'm playing. Because today I'm in Canada, tomorrow I'm in Lagos, next week I'm in Doha. From Doha I'm going to London. From London I'm going to US. You think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. We are still expanding. Okay, there's still business. We are going to Doha now. We're trying to open a branch in Doha, hopefully next week. Right, I'm going to London. There's a property we're trying to see if we can buy. London, but we're trying to buy a property. I think it's a hub, and the person running it is really struggling with finances. It's about £4 million and all that. So I'm going now, look at it. Maybe something we'll do, maybe something we won't do. By 9th or something of May, so I'm US and then I'm in Canada. But as those trips are going on, are we together now? We are looking for opportunities. We are visionary. We are looking for opportunities for expansion. But if you look at it on social media, you think I'm having fun, and you have no idea that it's very stressful, right? Extremely stressful to travel a lot. So you as a business owner, if you're just tied down to your business, I'll give you an example. Are you aware you have a higher chance of meeting somebody at the golf course that multiplies your business times 10, okay, than just sitting in the office and giving memo and correcting one thing. Now, this is also not to say that every day you are going to golf. Please balance it. Because there are times you then need to be in the office and everybody come do presentation and you're like, we're reviewing our first quarter, even though we're doing from Doha next week now. Okay, everybody, again, almost like you're doing management. Present what happened the last quarter. Present what you told us in January, this is what you're trying to do for the year. At least you should have 1/4 of it by now. Okay, so it's important to also get that. But majority of your job should be visionary, opening new doors, opening new opportunity, right, for the business. But many of us, like you said, are tied to operation. We're not even in management. You can't call yourself CEO, you are not even in management, you are in operation. The lowest of these streets here. Okay, so my next question, our time is funny enough, is done. But again, we'll continue this conversation in the VIP session. But I want to ask one more question before we wrap up. If you look at what are the elements of a business that we can say this business is sustainable, what must be present in a sustainable business?
Okay, so let us sum it.
You need to own it.
Okay, so let me sum it up in 3 things that must happen. First, you must have a great product. Great products. I know it looks like a no-brainer, but there are a lot of products that can't scale. And one of the reasons is example. So let me give a good example. A lot of restaurants in Nigeria can't scale.
So you can't scale Amala?
No. Fine dining. If you think about the biggest restaurants that are big, Chicken Republic, Buka Hut, The Place, right? You can see why they can scale. So first thing, and it's so easy to forget it or not see it, but now I'm calling names, you can mention them. So you must have a winner product that people know you for. You see, Chicken Republic, as it's in your face, you don't notice it. Chicken Republic's best product is their chicken. That's why it's called Chicken Republic. So you must have one winner product, flagship. Look, Apple has one winner product, iPhone. Yeah. Every other product rides on iPhone, if you think about it. The iWatch is working because of the iPhone. Your iOS is iPhone. Your iCloud is iPhone. Do you guys understand it? You must have a winner product. The same way how every great artist, music, has one winner hit that's pushed him. No matter how big people think of Michael Jackson, the biggest artist of our generation, it's still Thriller, the album called Thriller. I don't know if how many Gen Zs are here, I don't know if you can relate to it. The Moonwalk. That's song that made us learn how to slide. Every great product, every great business must have first a great product, a winner product, and have the discipline to almost kill other products that cannot align with that product. Does that make sense?
Wow.
It's very technical. You probably will not get everything by just writing down. You might need a consultant that knows what he's doing. It doesn't have to be me. To look at your business and say, what is that flagship product? You see, I've hung around GTEx a lot, I can tell you. Right? One of the best-selling products GTEx has is Jasper. So they cannot duplicate Jasper in Abuja, Jasper in America. Does that make sense? So first thing is have a great product and resist the temptation to have multiple products. That's not saying you don't have multiple products, but let the multiple products ride on the ecosystem of the main product. Does that make sense? You see, as big as Redeem is, if you think about Redeem, you still see the fundamentals. For service business like churches, right? You find out that they have a winner product, which is the ideology. So winners is built on prosperity.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Believers Love World is actually built on miracles, if you think about it deeply. Later, church they started to do music and all that. But think of Pastor Chris, I remember as a child, laying my hand